Hey, so here is the jar. I'm gonna try to bring it close so you can see. All finished. This is the one from the last video, the jar that I decorated with polymer clay, and then you can see it's super shiny. That's because I did a coat of triple thick polyurethane on top of it today. But there's that. So that is a super fun project. That turned out really, really well. Today, as I had mentioned, I'm going to do some fun things on glass. I had a friend give me these frames. Let me show you. Sorry. Not ready. A very good friend of mine asked me recently, do you want these glass frames that I have? I don't want them anymore. And I usually don't put things behind glass. I don't do a lot of stuff that I frame or present that way, but I took them, even though my first inclination was to say no, because I've got so much stuff here already. But I took, I think they might be from IKEA. I'm not sure, but there's some depth there. So I need to think about the next 3 frames, what I want to do, because there's a lot of possibilities here, but they're nice, very simple, very industrial, sort of clean glass frames. What I did with one, which you'll see upcoming in this video, is took a bunch of different things that I wanted to play with on glass. There's tissue paper, there's some metal leaf, some gold leaf. What else did I use? Alcohol inks and Sharpie and some enamel glass paints, and then just some regular acrylic paint. At the end, I painted the whole back of it black. And this is the piece right here, finished. You get a lot of reflection with this glass, but I think you can see it. That is what I'm going to start working on right now. Well, actually, I just finished it. Here it is, but you're going to see me start working on it right now. All right, I think I say it at the end of this video, but I'm going to say it again. Please subscribe, like, share. That really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to build something here, but this one's super, super fun. So enjoy watching me play with a bunch of stuff on glass. Well, I am going to be really methodical about this process. This is not my first time to paint or work on glass. And it's going to be reversed. So whatever I do here, this will actually be flipped around and be in the frame in reverse. So the things I need to think about are, whatever I put down first is what you're going to see in the front of the picture when it's finished. And then I have some materials that I want to experiment with on glass. Again, I've done this before, but not with all of the things that I'm going to try using today. So I'm going to have some fun and be brave, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to have the best success with this piece going in with the intention of making an abstract picture. I don't want to get too detailed or try to make some, a portrait or a landscape or something. I want to try to get some good energy to happen and some good color relationship, and I want to have good composition, but I'm not going to intentionally create anything. I'm going to start with the Sharpie, but you know what? First, I'm going to show you what I've got that I'm going to play with here today. Sharpies. I went through my tissue papers and I pulled a whole bunch of different tissue paper. I think from a collage perspective, putting any elements that I'm going to glue in, I think tissue paper is is going to be the right thing to do because of the little bit of translucency that it has. And when I'm backing things up, we might actually be able to create some dimension using this kind of paper, and it won't just look like flat paper glued to the back of the glass. The other element that would be like that, I have, these are some gold metal, well, it's metal leafing, it's gold colored, it's not actually gold. These are scraps from leafing larger projects, and then when I brush off the excess, I saved it. So I've got little pieces of, little flecks of gold that I think I want to incorporate in here. This is actually enamel acrylic paint that's for glass. I've pulled a few colors of that out. I've used this a lot in reverse painting on glass, mostly on like vases and jars and things, but I think this will be useful, and I really want to experiment with the Pinata inks on here and see what I can make happen on here with that. So I've got paint, inks, tissue paper, Sharpie, and the metal leafing. When I think about this, I feel like my best strategy is going to be to just do some mark making with the Sharpie and see if anything, if we can find any forms inside of there. So I'm really just running around the glass with this. Like I said, this is going to be a fun experiment. I'm not going to rush this process. And let's see if I can pull anything out of here. If I wanted to put a really solid kind of, like a red circle always comes into my head or something like that, I would maybe, we could pick a different paper than tissue paper, but all right. So the cool thing about the Sharpie is this is, that's ink. What do I don't want that. I want this. This is a little bit of alcohol. And I think I'll get a smaller brush and have it be specific to that. Kind of like this shape here. I'm going to see if I can just remove some of this Sharpie here. Go ahead and take a little piece of paper towel on my finger and see if I can blot that out. The alcohol has a tint to it because I've used it with to move some other ink around, but I think that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about having this be perfect in any way. I'm seeing something here, and I think, let's go quickly with that so we get that out of there. Take that out. Take this out here. I think you can see, because we're working on glass, I believe it's somewhere in here, you're seeing my phone, which I keep trying different ways to get this to be right, where you can't see the tripod and where you can see me working and my head stays out of it. And this has all been fun experiment getting to a better place. Right now I've got my phone on the tripod. It's leaning precariously from the wall. It's got a string tied to it and tied back to the wall. So it looked good when I checked it out. So hopefully that's going to work. Hopefully the string holds. I think I like this area here too. Yep. Oh, let's just take that out since it came along anyway. Bring it all right into there. There we go. All right. So we can keep moving around with that as we go. If I see more things I want to pull out, I can do that. I think let's just start with whatever this is, blue violet. Let's see what happens with this. Ink on the glass. It should move around pretty nicely. I'm going to bring another color in. I don't have them all out, but I think yellow's nice to go in there too, maybe. And then let's get some clean alcohol. See what happens if I put a dot in there. Again, let's just experiment with that. All right, we're going to let that be its own thing there. And then maybe bring a little bit of this over here. Some teal. Why'd that get some of that? Ooh, that teal is really saturated. Just tap it a little bit because I think there's still some alcohol in that brush. All right, these should dry fairly quickly. While that's happening, let's see. I've got this is the Nova Color matte medium, and I'm gonna get a different brush over here, and I'm gonna paint a little bit of that in this square here. And let's let that not dry, but just get a little bit tacky. And then we'll put a piece of leaf there, and maybe cut a little bit of this tissue paper. A little less. And hit that right there. And I wonder what happens if I put ink on top of where I put that matte medium. I don't know. This is one of the metallics. This is a copper. We'll just put it in there and see what happens. Ooh, it's bubbling, but that's what this ink always does when you put it down. You get a little alcohol in there. And I'm going to tap, just lightly tap that leaf. All right. I think with an element like that, then you can go in, maybe take a piece of this. Oh, you know what? let's do, I'm gonna pull some of the red glass paint, the enamel paint. First. And see if I can maybe, yeah, this is a little bit fussy right now. I think we'll get looser with this. I'm gonna go ahead and cover those things. I'm gonna put oh, the leaf kind of moved. That's all right. Whatever happens with that is fine. So what I want to try, I should probably talk a little bit louder. What I want to try is then to back that up here. All right, you know what, just so we get an idea, let's turn this over for a second so we can see this side of it. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. That tells me a lot. Okay. I'm going to start getting a little more aggressive with some of this tissue paper. Let's see what happens with this. It has a pattern in it. There's still a little bit of red paint in that brush, but that's all right. Is that all right? Oh, it's making that really red. That's okay. All right. Let's get that brush clean. Okay. Right in that crack, or that space between those, I'm going to lay down some leaf. And then let's take another piece of this, the black. Your leaf is going to lift if you're not super careful there, but let's see what happens when we back that up there like that. And then I think up here in just a real sort of stained glass kind of way, this is that glass paint again. Let's do that there. Do we want to do it in another spot? I still have some on my brush. Let's see what happens if we do something right there. Well, what happens is it's blue. That's what's going to happen. Let's rinse this out. And got a really nice teal color here. That right like that in there. And then let's grab these inks again. This is coral. I'm going to put a dot of coral right there. It'll be really interesting to see, does it stay inside the lines of the Sharpie? Not really, nope. Kind of bleeds out actually. Let's put this here. Ooh, and see what happens when it goes into that paint. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Some really beautiful gold tissue paper. And I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, let's look again and see what's happening. All right, it's a little bit deceptive of what it's going to be because we've got some matte medium that's not dry in there, looking a little milky. And when that dries, it'll dry clear, so that's great. But I think that's looking really interesting, and I sort of like the marks. And then I sort of don't like the marks. I'll tell you what, I think the reason I don't like a lot of those marks is because it doesn't look like the marks that I usually make. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of them right now. And then maybe leave that like that. Leave that alone. And if I'm gonna have marks over here, they should look like marks that I would make. That looks much more like what I want it to look like. Okay, and then let's throw some of this ink into here. Okay, see, so now that it's taken me this long to sort of relax and be a little more free with this process, and that's making me a little bit happier. Yeah. So once I start playing like that, I think I'm going to have much better results. I love this paper, and I think I'm actually going to cut Brad, if you do like that, you're going to cut 2 circles. All right. Cut a circle. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint the medium right on that circle that I cut instead of on the glass. There we go. I'm just gonna drop it right here. Cool. Yeah. Better, much better. I'm gonna go back to my tissue paper. And I'm gonna, that's right on a fold. Let's get that fold out of there. This guy, now, let's see. I do the same thing on this one. Oh, you know what? Let's bring this over here. Joanne's ad. All right, that works for applying matte medium, applying adhesive. Let's go right over. Oh, it even picked up a little bit of the ink off of here. Okay, I want to look at that. We'll flip it this way this time. Yeah, there's some fun happening there. That makes me now want to go over here and change some things over here. As alcohol will move any of the alcohol, the Pinata ink, the Sharpie, you know, those are both alcohol inks. So a 90% isopropyl alcohol will get rid of or loosen or move that. So what do I have over here? I don't know what that is. It says pearl, and I don't think I've used this before, so let's see what it does. Oh, it's very pearly. What if we put a dot of color in with that? This is pink. And then if I just tore a little strip of this blue. I'm putting matte medium on some blue tissue paper over here on this, again on this Joanne's ad. And I'm gonna lay this right into that. Oops. Oh, look at that. It got all nice and ripped up there. That's cool. Yay. Okay. Let's bring some more of this matte medium in here and just lay some more pieces of gold leaf, just a couple, yeah, however they stick. Let's put some back on top of them too. Yep. And what other colors do I have here? Ooh. This is some silver. Now, one thing that you might notice, let's turn this over again, is this is really transparent and it looks real thin, and but what I'm going to say about that is, let's bring some black in here. Once we get all the layers and everything on there, I'll either paint black on the back or bring some darker. As I build up, we'll bring darker and darker colors in. So there will be some, we will get kind of a good layered look and get some solid stuff to happen in there. I'm liking some of those paints too. Let's get some more of that to happen. I think this isn't, I have another Sharpie. Where's my, there it is. Let's get a better one. Yep. Let's put, I don't know what, let's just dribble a little bit of that on there. And then maybe use the wrong end of the brush and work some of that sort of into that area, and then, because why not? Let's drop some of this ink in there. Let's see what it does. And let's see, get some alcohol in there. Just keep messing around. Where's that other circle? There it is. Right there. Yeah. Okay. And then let me take some of this nice lime colored tissue paper. This, you know, this is really fun. This is a really fun idea. I don't know if I said that, well, I probably said this I will say this at the beginning, that I haven't filmed the beginning of this video yet. But I'm doing this because I had a friend gift me these frames, 4 frames with glass. I don't do a lot of stuff that goes behind glass. I'm usually building panels and doing, you know, really 3-dimensional stuff that isn't, first of all, doesn't need to be protected by glass, and I don't mess around with matting things and stuff like that, typically. But, you know, he said, could you use these frames? I don't want them. And I thought, you know, my initial response is, gadzooks, I have so much stuff in the studio already. But then I thought, well, what can I do with those? Or how can I use, I have a couple other ideas. This is the first way I'm doing it, just to see, you know, this literally is 0 risk because the frame was given to me. I'm using all stuff that I have already, just pulling out tissue paper and inks and old glass paints, my Sharpie. All right, something's happening here for sure. Yeah, it's pretty darn exciting. All right, I'm gonna keep doing the same stuff. So I don't think there's any reason for me to make this video overly long by filming every second of this, but I'm gonna keep working on this. And then you'll get to see, you've already seen it actually, because I'll show it at the beginning. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this layering and all these different elements. Makes me think of what else could I use. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. You're gonna see me in a little reflection here as I come up here probably, and turn this off. Oh, we're at 32 minutes already and I've still gotta do an intro. Yeah, that's plenty long. Anyway, let's look at the front of it again. Yeah, I think that's gonna be really cool. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It would really help me out as I try to build this channel and create something coming out of this studio that I can send out to the world. Like and share, and if you have any comments or any ideas for me, please comment down in the comment section below. I look forward to coming back and doing something else. And right now, I'm really looking forward to finishing up this project. So, thanks again.